Hello, I'm BrigantiaBlackbird of BlackbirdsBrew. Happy Saturday and welcome to Wicca 101. This week's class is about practicing magic. Magic is much more than spells and rituals. That must be understood clearly before we delve any further into the matter. The energy that we call magical is a naturally occurring energy. It is inherent in everything, animate and inanimate. It can be infused into objects and indeed people in order to create specific effects. This can occur naturally or through the intentions of a magical practitioner. If you carry on with your studies, you will gradually become more consciously aware that this energy is around you at all times, as well as the fact that you are constantly interacting with that energy. It is part of who and what you are. These are small, everyday acts of magic. They're around the household. And if you're interested in how that can be played out in particular, I would refer you to the Pagan Housewife series and also to an episode of Witch on Witch in which Georgia Liberty of the channel Wiccan Conservative and myself talked about magical lifestyle and household. Other acts of everyday magic involve small little blessings contained within kitchen magic, being hyper-focused on goals in a way that draws upon both physical and magical energy. Even meditation and journeying can be considered forms of practicing magic, depending on the context, how you're doing it, and how you actually look at it. Spells and rituals tend to be a bit more elaborate, although not always. But if you think of it this way, everyday small acts of magic are like the period at the end of a sentence, but spells and rituals are more like an exclamation point that gives you a sense of the degree of difference between the two. So what is necessary in order to make an intentional act of magic happen? It isn't a question of how simple or elaborate something is or whether the occasion is formal or informal. The best illustration of the process that I can think of, at least so far, is to compare it to how an engine functions. As I've covered in past classes, in order to make something happen, you'll be drawing upon the four physical elements: earth, air, fire, water, and it will be guided by the fifth element, spirit. Now, part of a functioning engine involves having proper airflow. This is the intellectual part of magic. It's the idea, the intention, the thought. Fire is the spark. It is the catalyst for ignition in order to make the car go. And it is the same with magic. Fire provides the drive. Water is like the fuel. Without fuel, an engine will not run. And without us pouring our emotions into our spells and our rituals, neither will they. And then earth is the physical component of the engine, animated by the other elements and then providing the physical action that makes everything else happen. So too, the earth element is the practical aspect and the manifestation of working magic. Spirit is the person who is in the driver's seat, who's moving the steering wheel to where the car needs to go. We are that spirit in spell work and in ritual. We are programming the energy, telling it what to do and where to do it. We are deciding what effect will be created. Methods of performing magic are varied, and they're constantly being developed in two ways. Just two examples would be puppet magic or candle magic. There are many other forms, but keep in mind that these are just methods of performing magic. They're not separate disciplines. They're just a way you might happen to go about doing something, and there's always more than one way to get a job done. Almost all ingredients that you might use for spell work have substitutions, which is another reason to invest in a good magical correspondence book, but the most important component in working magic is you. So don't be intimidated and feel that you have to rely on other people's spells and rituals. You are just as capable of writing spells and rituals if you keep in mind the key components that we discussed earlier, that engine of magic, that is that which makes everything else go. And oftentimes when you use your own words, that will further infuse what you are doing with more of your own energy, and it's just another way of stacking the deck in your favor so that you will accomplish what you want to accomplish. And whether you experience success or failure in a particular working, 99% of the time, the reason for that success or failure will come down to you. whether you thought through what you were doing. Did you direct the necessary energies effectively? Did you pour your essence into what you were doing? And are you working in harmony with the rest of the universe? Usually does come down to us. So now for our homework for August 6th through August 12th. Number 1, look up 3 spells that all have the same intention. Compare and contrast. Can you see how the elements are present, or do you feel like one or more is absent? Do you think that any of the spells you're looking at would actually be effective? 2, think about a need you have in your life right now, and then look up magical correspondences for that intention. Make a list of what correspondences are readily available to you. Then 3, try writing a spell. You don't have to act on it, nor should you dabble in any magical practice until such time as you feel ready and have genuine need, but this is just practice. And then journal about how you feel about your efforts and whether or not you think you have enough knowledge to really apply and have something come together for it to form an effective spell. So that does it for this week. Next week, we will be talking about getting into a spiritual routine. We just have 3 more weeks left in our Wicca 101 class, then we'll move on to Wicca 202. So I hope you'll stay tuned for all of that. In the meantime, any comments, questions, concerns, let me know in the comments section below, or come see us on Gilded at Blackbird's Brew. There's a link to join us on the description box below, and I hope to talk to you soon. But that'll do it for this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.